can all agree that hiring feels a lot like missed connections. We definitely know that the right people are out there, but the timing might be off. It could be that the follow-up drops off, or the moment it just passes by. And then you're left wondering, what could have been? The end result, besides being incredibly frustrated, is lost profitability, frustrated teams on the edge of burnout, and a process that actually feels like it's getting a lot harder and much more challenging over time. Our report talks about these disconnects, and I'm also going to give you some actual solutions to help. So let's start with the basic question: what is it that employers actually want versus what do job seekers think that employers need to hear when they're applying for a job or in that very critical step, the job interview? From our survey, almost a third of the companies say that applicants simply don't have the skills they're looking for. But it turns out that that's actually not what the main problem is. It's a mismatch between the job seeker and the employer. On the other side of the coin, the job seekers are also saying, this is really hard because so many people are applying for the job I really want. They're saying that one-third of them are actually saying that there's too many competitors out there for the job. And so we're in this interesting spot in time where what we consider a perfect storm, where good companies can't find good employees quickly, and good potential employees are simply struggling to get hired. The end result? It's a complete mismatch in priorities. Employers need candidates with leadership skills, like change management and leading remote teams. In fact, 40% say that leadership skills are their biggest skills gap. They're also looking for people who have soft or durable skills like critical thinking and clear communication. Job seekers, they have no clue. They're oblivious to all of this because they're focusing their resume, their application, and the conversation, the job interview, about their direct industry experience. Whereas employers are saying, show us your potential, show us you can grow. And both sides are speaking totally different languages when it really comes to what makes for a great candidate. Employers are screening out adaptable, future-ready talent because they're not asking for the specificity of what they really need, and candidates aren't showcasing the value, their experiences, because they don't realize what employers are looking for. So don't we all want to get an edge on our competitors? I know I sure do when I'm hiring, so I'm going to give you some tips on how you can beat out your competitors for the very best candidate. The first thing, be explicit. Spell out what you need, what you're looking for. Be super clear in the job posting and ask people for concrete examples of how they have showcased those values that you're looking for in a job interview. Don't make people guess what you're looking for. Tell them. I wish I could say that there is a perfect unicorn out there. There never is. I know I sure haven't been as an employee, but I want to give you 4 concrete steps of how you can bring this to life when you're looking for an individual. First off, look for the right potential rather than the perfect resume. Focus on someone who is adaptable, who's curious, who's got this willingness to grow with your organization and grow with your team. Not just people who have followed a straight linear path throughout their career. One way to spot applicants who are eager to grow is look at how they invest in themselves. Are they taking courses to learn new skills? And maybe that might be the candidate you're looking for. Another tip is to make the job ad about what people can do and learn, not just a list of must-haves. You've got this long laundry list of critical skills that need to be filled. I really encourage you to think about what's actually critical and what is absolutely necessary in the role. And lastly, decide what you really need and pick the candidate that meets those clear requirements that you've set out. This isn't magic. I know you can do it. And AI can also help you. AI can really help, and our new tool called Indeed Talent Scout can help you identify high-quality candidates. It can help you explain why they might be a good fit and lets you easily connect using AI-generated messages. So, although the best match may not look like what you expected, it could be exactly what you need. This leads me into the second disconnect, which is the process that takes way too long. Okay, one more quick question for my friends in the audience. Raise your hand if your company takes less than 2 weeks from posting a job to making a job offer. We've got a couple of people, good, all right. What we're finding from our survey is that most sides agree that 2 to 4 weeks is pretty reasonable to make a job offer, but 1/4 of job seekers will start looking elsewhere if it takes more than 2 weeks to get an offer. So think about that. You find the perfect person. They're just excellent. You're really excited to have them join your team. But if your process drags on far too long, they're gone. And if they feel like you forgot about them, maybe a little ghosted, maybe you forgot to return an email or a telephone call, their negative experience is contagious. It will damage your brand and make future hiring even harder. So smart companies aren't just trying to hire fast, they're making the hiring process smooth, getting rid of some of the friction points, and making it easier for job seekers to apply for jobs. They know that a good candidate experience gives them a true advantage. Some companies are doing this really, really well, and I want to focus on a couple of countries that are doing this great. Both Australia and France have cut the time to hire significantly. Over half of employers say they hire someone in 2 to 4 weeks, much faster than the US. And according to our survey, here's a couple of reasons why. So in Australia, nearly 60% of Australian companies use automated scheduling for interviews, and they say it's helpful in speeding up hiring. Whereas in France, 33% of companies are using AI to summarize a candidate's experience, which helps them find good people quickly. In contrast, in the US, it's only 21%. My colleague Eric Grass, who is an Indeed talent strategy advisor in France, says this: employees embarking on this adventure are investing heavily in training their employees on these tools to optimize their work. It means that they can share what's working and everybody in the organization can benefit. So there's some things that you can do to streamline your hiring if you feel that it's longer than these 2 to 4 weeks, which our survey is saying is relatively reasonable. First off is look at how many interview steps you have. Do you really need to have 5 interview steps? That's a pretty common amount. It takes so long. Use AI. AI can help you with your screening and with the scheduling of interviews. And if you can't shorten it, because sometimes the process is the process, let people know. Let them know how long it's going to take and be transparent with how you're using AI. People will be understanding if you give them a better sense of what the expectations are within your hiring process. As Elizabeth said in my title, I've got marketing in it, and I care very much about brand reputation. What we're finding is that if the candidate experience doesn't go all that well, it can have a massive detrimental impact on your brand's reputation. Nearly 30% of American job seekers develop a negative view of an organization if the hiring is too slow. So it's not just a good thing to do to keep it moving quickly, but in the age of online company reviews, social media, and of course, word of mouth, it can not only impact your talent acquisition, but also your brand reputation. And as I said earlier, if you can shorten that process, at least tell people. Tell them what to expect and communicate clearly. All right, so you found the candidate, you've made an offer, you've got it to this point. This is the last disconnect. The very last step is around the job offer. Employers know that benefits matter, but they often underestimate how much it does matter to the job seeker. From our survey, we're seeing that 1/3 of job seekers care the most about flexibility and work-life balance. They're the top 2 factors when weighing offers, whereas only 1/4 of employers consider this to be an important part of the offer. What's really interesting to me is I thought money would be number 1 on this list, but actually base salary is the second biggest priority for job seekers. 27% of people feel that what you make is the most important thing in consideration, but it's fourth for employers. So it's interesting, right? You don't need to keep throwing money at the problem or perks at people. You really need to deeply understand what motivates individuals who want to join your organization, and also what retains your ideal candidates. So if you're not leading with what people value most, which is around flexibility and work-life balance, you're leaving great hires on the table and truly sabotaging your efforts at the finish line, the most important stage. So what can you do? And again, very straightforward for you to think about this, is lead with flexibility. Be upfront about what work-life balance is in your organization. Be clear about what the expectations are in the job description and, of course, during the interview phase. If you can't offer full flexibility, and we know that that is not an option for many organizations, then be specific. Be specific about what options you do offer and can offer to prospective candidates. Don't wait for job seekers to ask. They're probably pretty nervous. And if you're in a job interview and say, like, I might need some flexibility in the work hours, they may feel that they wouldn't be considered. So I encourage you as leaders to lead the way and set clear expectations from the very start as to what flexibility looks like in your organization. So I've talked about these three critical disconnects in hiring, and why this is making hiring so challenging. The common thread, it's misunderstanding and miscommunication. The right people are out there. They want to join your organization, they want to be part of your team. They're ready to connect, eager to grow, and unfortunately, just as frustrated as you are with how the hiring process is going. But I want to encourage you, you can transform hiring. It's a matter of being clear on what you value, streamlining the process, cutting those steps that might not be necessary, and meeting talent where they are.